I ask for the truth on behalf of Alura Snedeker concerning relationship issues. And is she 100% okay, I suppose, with this partner that she's intending to marry, that she loves deeply? Of course, can't see why not, but we ask for the truth in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to that truth always. And we just cut the that there. It just seems to have cut just a bit near the top there, doesn't it? But nevertheless, we'll place the top on the bottom or whatever. And then place the cards to the side for you there, Alura. Now, what we'll do now is deal out 3 cards for the past, the present and the future. In this case, I always tend to do a moon phase behind and a moon phase in front with Alura Snedeker there in the middle. So, of course, a moon phase behind is about 3 or 4 weeks or so ago, isn't it? It's about the last month or so, you could say, couldn't you? And then, of course, the present, that's a recent past, and now the present there. And then, of course, the immediate future, which is a moon phase ahead. It's about 3 or 4 weeks or so between now and this time, between now and the next new moon, you could say, couldn't you, really? So, with that all laid out, we'll pull out the first card and see where you were in this relationship about a month ago. I suppose you could say we're like establishing the situation, aren't you? It's a bit like the long shot in any sort of scene that you shoot on a storyboard or whatever. You have your long shots and then your mid shots and then the close-ups. And of course the long shot in the sense of just taking a look at the bigger picture from out there, looking in. What was going on, of course, over the past 3 or 4 weeks. We'll flip the card over nice and slow there, not to disturb its energy. And we'll reveal there you've got the black cat. And as we can see there, it's got rather an Egyptian feel to it, doesn't it? I suppose the Egyptians, they used to like cats, didn't they? They used to revere them. And probably still do. This energy, of course, just indicates that just recently your luck soon changed in some regard concerning this relationship situation. I'm sort of getting, of course, changing for the better, but of course there's something that also could say, well, if it changes, could it be changing for the worst as well? But I'm getting the better in the sense that everything has worked together for good, and that's although nevertheless you can't help but look at the card and still see it has got like a dark sort of energy. The black cat, of course, is black for a reason. The black is of course protection, and of course black cats they are protective, and they are classed as lucky, good luck actually, protective. When you hear of people who've got black cats and they desert them and throw them out and whatever, especially in times of financial crisis caused by corrupt governments, where the economy collapses, and these superstitious families throw out black cats thinking they're bad luck, when actually the opposite is true. You should always keep a black cat, it'll protect you. It's the black that protects you actually. And this sort of runs into the next card we're going to pull out for the present. We're going to see how this has resulted. Was it luck good? Was it luck for the better or for the worst? Your luck did soon change, though. It changed maybe abruptly in that regard. Let's see. Oh well. Look at that. As you can see there. the love card there. That's just bring that closer for you. I think that says it all, doesn't it? You've really, I think really this is answering the question that maybe, I don't know. But certainly I think we do know, really, don't we? I think you know what the answer to this question is, don't you? And yes, your luck did soon change, but of course true love and fidelity is there right now. There's faithfulness, Cupid is there, of course, and of course the heart there symbolising, of course, the love and whatever. And although there is darkness in the background, nevertheless that which glistens and shines in the darkness, the light does shine in the darkness and make things clearer, doesn't it? So it looks as though the answer to your question is yes. Things are going to be okay. Maybe you've been worried. Why have you been worried? Let's see what the immediate future is, or potentially could be just there. Let's just, as we just flip that card over there and just reveal the energy there of the wolf. I think this is what it's about, isn't it? This is what it's about. The energy of the wolf. The wolf really is warning you, really, for the next 3 or 4 weeks or so, to beware who you trust. Yes, trust is like virginity. Once you lose it, you are basically up shit creek without a paddle. Fucked is the word. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just got to be careful about where your loyalties do lie. Maybe you will be trusting too many masters, or becoming a bit over dependent on others or something, but placing your trust in too many masters. Right now you've got somebody who's faithful to you, and maybe it's best to trust him than to try and then of course, but nevertheless beware who you trust in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so, between now and the next new moon, for the next month, maybe even him as well. But there's true love and fidelity right now that can change, and trust can be broken, I suppose, to some degree. But I don't somehow sense as though it's him. I somehow sense it's something else, an external force. Maybe beware who you trust in what other people say about him. If you don't know enough about him and you've fallen in love and it's a recent thing, then of course beware who you trust about what they say about him, because that might put you off and you might throw away something good. Your luck has soon changed. Maybe your luck has soon changed to a degree where it sounded too good to be true, and probably is. So just beware who you trust. But nevertheless, you've got to beware who you trust, regardless, in the sense, beware what trust you place in him anyway. Nobody's saying you should watch him like a hawk and assume he's up to something no good. But if you, of course, it depends how much you know him and whatever. But there's true love and fidelity there now. That's the main thing. If that changes, and he may drift off, of course, you're about to marry him, and you're not married yet. Does somebody take a last chance jump at it to get out quick before they commit themselves? I don't know what's going on there. I want to pull another card here because I'm a bit nosy myself, and I just want to see what comes of this trust issue. Maybe the trust issue is unfounded. We can always assume that. We can always think that because it's a trust issue, it can be unfounded, can't it? Let's just pull out another card here, just to say about sort of my Aprilish. Yes, this is a warning, I'm afraid. Yes, be careful who you trust, and also this is just warning you, really, that conflict and danger do lie ahead. Arguments and maybe if it's unfounded and you wrongfully accuse him because you don't trust him or whatever, that will start an argument anyway. But of course, if he's up to something and his true love and fidelity right now is sort of no longer trusted or worthy of being trusted between now and the next new moon, then of course that will lead to conflict, that will lead to arguments, thundering rows. I always noticed that the red ruby or whatever it is there on the dagger there, the two-edged sword, of course, or the two-edged blade, what goes out comes back, of course. Is that, of course, in the sense of somebody saying, I told you I wasn't up to anything. I told you that I wasn't up to anything, and I'm going to walk out on you because you're wrongfully accusing me. You're telling me you don't trust me when I'm proving me trust to you, or you knew that, you know, or whatever. Or is it your trust is misplaced in him between sort of now and the next new moon, and after that? Well, if we can't trust each other, what is the point? Maybe he is trustworthy and you just, maybe if it is something that's too good to be true, and probably is, I don't know, but maybe it is too good to be true and is literally just too good, and the to be true bit, it is true, and you are at a risk of bringing this to a slow motion car crash because you can't believe that anybody could be so faithful to you. You love him so much, you want to marry him, you don't want anything to go wrong, and the slightest sign of something going wrong, the slightest sign of a trust issue will be questioned, and straight away that can lead to arguments and disputes. And of course, what's the point in being faithful to somebody who doesn't appreciate that or believe it to be true? May as well find somebody else who can trust me. I'm trying my best to be trustworthy and place, you know, in that sense, be trustworthy. But if they aren't trusting me, then what is the point? Yes, there are issues. I sense there are issues here. I want to just pull another card out because this looks, the darkness of this is too much. New relationship blossoms after that. It looks as though, yes, it looks as though around about probably April time, a new relationship blossoms, and this relationship that you're in, that you want to marry, the one you want to marry, is a short-term thing, and everybody does a runner just at the time, just before the wedding or something like that. Everybody quits while they are ahead, or something like that. But the danger lies ahead for March next month. Well, my April, correction. The danger lies ahead for April. That's the time when there are arguments, disputes, and of course the new relationship blossoms. Maybe you find somebody else, or he does find somebody who is worthy of his trust, worthiness, whatever. Either way, if the new relationship that blossoms, I can't see that being a rekindling of the relationship that you're in. I can't see that. This looks as though it's a short-term thing, but another relationship is around the corner. But will you repeat the same pattern of lack of trust? What is it about you that you do not trust other people? Or that you will end up in a position next month having to be careful who you trust? Is it the company that you keep who spread rumours about people? Be careful of him, because when actually it's all a lie, because they're just jealous of who you've got or who you're with or whatever, and then you find out he's with them instead after. I don't know what this is about, but it's all very, very dark and very disturbing, isn't it, to some degree? And I'd rather quit while I'm ahead here, just until this wears itself out, this energy, this dark energy wears itself on you, wears itself out on you, and then we can regroup maybe and see if drawn, or see what vibrates later on. But for now, these cards have spoken.